What are you play around?
Yeah, music.
Jive.
Soul stuff.
I think it should be.
Yeah, I'm getting it.
Okay, cool.
Everything, didn't I pawn everything? Didn't I?
Oh, right,
So I
yeah.
want to basically like find a relatively neutral volume out there where I can like be like, okay, this is where it's loud. This is where it's.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay.
So I'll set it to like.
Let's go.
Okay, that's it.
My name is BLUEs.Weave, we gotta start this set off with some stories. One Coleman said, let the planet crack for the wasted dead. So many black heads crushed down with the boots of the feds. The unfed youth looking for bread. We couldn't find none, so it was over. The cats who lost the private prisons looking to sell booze. Shake, sugary, out the money, almost funny how cunning this rigged game we play is. A rat race run by Satanists. They poison us, then they sell us the immunity. Systematically evict communities, pillage with impunity. Actively evade accountability and reparations. Act with patience, they know we won't last. As long as that pile of cash that they stole off our backs, they act like they forgot. Like they forgot. The blues remembers when it's September as the glowing night learned to see on her travels less the luxury of light, a raging temper into might to fight the waste. What a waste. Wanda Coleman said, let the planet crack for the wasted dead. So many black heads crushed down with the boots of the feds. An unfed youth looking for bread, but couldn't find none, so it was over. The cats lost the private prisons, looking to fill quotas. I read about why blues looking for folks with street cred. Go on the interstate running plates, plot as old as time, so they follow the thread. Blue sees black and decides to pull them over, cause cops are looking for heads. They can make a shot spin and something sticky to the bed, so who approaches black window, waist full of lead. Ain't got time to waste, blue moving with quickness, cause unknown needs are unmet. The place came back clean. The trunk was pristine, black with even speed. Blue knew there was something, wait, there. Black moved a little funny, that's what the opposite said. Blue shot and black bled. What a waste. What a waste. Wanda Coleman said, let the planet crack for the wasted dead. So many black heads crushed down under the boots of the feds. An unfed youth looking for bread, but couldn't find none, so it was over. So cats lost the private prisons looking to fill quotas. Wanda Coleman said, grief is now my way afoot, a hand to hot. The gallows laughter marks my stride. A face grown hard like ebony quartz. My bloodshot eyes a dawn must ride. A ghost maker. I say take pride on the strength it takes to rise from the ashes of burnt tears. And you cry cause the cold took another. Cause you only know your mother. Cause your childhood was smothered by the pain of generations. Long past went through your present. Your ancestors been healed in the present. Through you they meant heaven sent. Was you ascended? Proof of change yet to come. Your eyes gleaming like the sun, like victory we won. Cause you the future. Wanda Coleman said, let the planet crack for the wasted dead. And may those cycles suffer then. And may those cycles suffer then. And may those cycles suffer then. May those cycles suffer then.
Waiting to take the step, like time, like everything. And then return again.
Coming straight out of the black ether, risen from the realm of the reaper. I'm awake now, I got the fever. They tried to put me down but can't reach her. Used to take puffs off the reefer to help me see a higher place. Now I've been hanging with the reaper on the astral planes, calling on Athena. Help me win the race, I've been moving at a different pace. Of a new day, strapping up my laces. It's kind of play, but I ain't playing. I'm watching brick after brick that I'm laying. I'm committed to putting in the work day in and day out. I'm casting out doubt. Can't believe I forgot what life was about. Now I'm the water after drought. Niggas seeds about to sprout from the concrete they busted out. Roses a beautiful thing, sturdy and stout. I'm unshakable, I'm a soul on the route. Fuck chasing clout. The universe got plans I gotta carry out. So I'll see you when I do see you when I see you when I'll see you when I do it. See you when I do it. That's just the last one. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. This is yeah, it means a lot. Hope you enjoy the music, and I'll play you about
It means, let's see, someone who speaks flowers. And that's how in Nahuatl, which I'm a native Mexica person, that's how we describe what poetry is to us. Xochitl being very sacred. So sacred words almost coming out. But yeah, hope everyone's doing good today. I'm gonna start off with my first poem called Chicano Me. I need to take this off because it's the whole part of it. But yeah, hope y'all enjoy. Wow, okay, hold up. Let me look real quick. That's right. All right. Bald head Chicano, I'm in my corky era. I'll punch you in the fucking face with some words. I'm in my corky era. These hands stay ready. And Grandpa taught me the right hook, and Uncle Mundo taught me about the uppers and the uppercuts too. And they got me feeling like Paco and Cruz at the same time. El Gallo Negro, Juan Xochitl la toque. We blood, but he out. Because the only thing I love more than revolution is my liberation. Chicano me, no sabo kid. said by some peso pluma ass güero. And he said he was an 18th streeter. And I said, hey, I don't give a fuck. And I was like, hey, did they call you Froggy? Because the last time I remember, you were out here getting jumped. And it's crazy to be talking shit to me, calling me an Osabo kid, when you're out here trying to act black. Dropping hard R's with the white boys, still trying to get a seat at the table. And it's crazy, you're doing all this talking, only to be a white man's right hand in some random farm in Quincy. Chicano me, I'm bringing in a new Chicano era. No borracho, but I'm out here bar hopping. Bar after bar, I fight for my people, and right now it's with words, but if I have to, then I'll air it the fuck out. And I'll get accused of shooting a cop, and then they'll call me the eighth persona de la raza. And that one's for Comrade George Jackson, who was sentenced 1 year to life in Soledad. And he became a revolutionary. And he said, elevate the consciousness of your people and understand that we have the same oppressors. And that got me thinking, like, the only thing that's scarier than me right now is me in a panther, dripped out with ARs and berets saying, we love ourselves and understand that we have the same oppressor. And if we come together, then we'll whip their ass. We're in the super team era, but I want to bring back the dynamic duo. Like Peyton to Kemp, I want to posterize the revolution. Black and brown united, going hard as fuck in the paint, no longer looking to Europe for our center. We create the world we create the world we see around us and receive none of the credit. And I ain't necessarily seeking credit so much as I think we need to make some edits. Like how my people put food on your table but live in shacks. And I'm not talking back in Central Washington. I'm not talking back in Mexico. I'm talking right the fuck over there in Mount Vernon. These Mexicans are living in the same shacks as the same Mexicans before them. And I put Mexicans in air quotes because I know it ain't just us bending over, and I know it ain't just us getting exploited. And other Mexicans might avoid that talk, but like I said, I'm bringing in a new Chicano era. Now, I ain't trying to act hard. I really am a lover. I want nothing more than to be playing an oldie for my girlfriend, being a grateful ass fool. But I just think you and the world are worth throwing some chingazos over. Because our love is going to create a new world. So when I talk about revolution, liberation, unification, and love all in the same poem, know that I meant it. And you felt it. Because you too are seeking the same. So I'll let you know, most of my stuff, I don't know if you've heard of it's an app or a website, it's called Medium. That's where I post most of my longer poems. This is that was a slam version of that poem. That poem's a lot longer, explores Chicano identity, hypocrisies within Chicano culture and everything like that, which I love to call out. So yeah, I equally distribute my dislike. So the next one I'm going to do is a new poem. I just got done with this week, and it's related to Donald Trump. So he just recently declared English as the official language, and so we're going to go ahead and talk about that from a no sabo kid, right? The only thing I know. So Trump declared English the official language, so it's time to shut the fuck up and listen to this no sabo kid. You say English only, which is fine with me because that's all I know too. Of all the presidents to declare English, it's the person who is least qualified to talk that does it. How are we going to make English our official language when we can't even pronounce aluminium? You can't even get your own language right. But then you think about it. Over half of us stopped reading after elementary school. 1 in 5 Americans is illiterate. Just because you can talk don't mean you have any logic. And one thing is innate, but the comprehension of the world ain't. You say English only, which is fine with me because that's all I know too. I'm Chicano me. Too brown for the whites, too white for the browns, too English for me gente, too Spanish for the white gowns. English only in this small town. You won't see no cholo tear for your white fears. Love black and gold, but I ain't no Latin king. And I don't rep 13 or 18, but don't think that I rep 12 either. And I think it's fucked up too. Even if I threw up some gang signs, would your illiterate ass actually understand the signs, or would you just see this brown skin? Because we live in a world where color has meaning, with white always being seen in a good light, despite that when white takes all of the good light, white burns. But when good light hits this brown skin, it reflects gold. And you can't take it, so you make the world great, and it makes my day harder to shine. You say English only, which is fine with me because that's all I know too. I hate that you feel comfortable to do just exactly what you want to do with no repercussion. I know exactly how you think, and you ain't smart, and you ain't tough either. Y'all only tough when there isn't any threat of getting your ass beat after, when there's only women and children, when we're all unarmed. So, I cry. You're so disconnected from me and this universe, it hurts. You wake up only to kill others so that they can no longer live as well. I want to make sure that your wasteful body is disintegrated like the revolutionaries you killed to keep your nation pure. I want to blast you back into an atom. You will be nothing, non-existent, absent from thought. I want you to feel every piece of flesh being torn off your body, and then I want you to put that shit back together and call that shit civilization. And it's funny how what comes after dominance is becoming average. The greatest to ever do it, but about 250 years like the greatest empire before us and before them. So you ain't nothing special. Certainly not exceptional. American exceptionalism is nothing more than a phrase to mask the fact that the only thing we're exceptional at is being exceptionally stupid. I'm another headache for this empire of hate. I got no love for this terrorist state, and if my words bring me my fate, then let them know on this date, this brown man did not hesitate. They said English only, which is fine with me, because that's all I know too. So I had to, Trump is trying to also, trying to figure something out now too, where he's wanting to, if you're an enemy of the state now, you can get deported. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that would be actually, low-key kind of cool. It would suck for my job and shit, but, but low-key kind of cool. So yeah, if you don't get the vibe by now, very political. I do activism as well, so a lot of my poetry really is based off the shit I read in books, and I couldn't necessarily put into an academic word or an academic form, because my background is in politics. But so basically, it's just an expression of all my anger towards all the crazy shit I've read in books. So yeah, my last one that I'm gonna do is one of my favorite poems. It's a very personal poem, because I wrote this to my grandma probably about 5 years after she passed away. I miss my grandma every single day, and I swear when I talk about her, I could cry every single day as well. But she never got to see me perform poetry. That was something that was before, after she passed. But, I think she would have been very happy with where I'm at and what I'm doing now. She never had that opportunity, especially because my grandpa was very patriarchal, kept her in the kitchen. So, like I said, a lot of my poems are longer. This is a slam version of that, and I get into depth with that and about my grandpa, how he treated my grandma. Not necessarily super abusive, but the very patriarchal, hey, make me dinner, hey, clean up my shit, hey, I'm gonna go do this, and yeah, you're gonna go stay in the house. So yeah, this is for my grandma, and she's from Eagle Pass, Texas. If you know anything about what's going on there, it's right on the United States southern border. A lot of shit happening, checkpoints, ICE, and my family's still there. So this is for my family and for my grandma as well. Hey grandma, did you hear? Eagle Pass, Texas is on the news. Why, mijo? It's la migra. It's the border. They're trying to prevent people like us from coming into the United States. Why, mijo? They say that we ruin the country and that we make the country unsafe. We're kind of like public enemy number one without the big-ass gold clock. They say it's a matter of national security, from Nazis to commies, from the Taliban to ISIS, and now they're calling us Hamas. It's a testing ground, from Gaza to your hometown. Brown bodies becoming objective enemies through black mirrors. Grandma, the border is like a science experiment where we represent the variables and they get to represent the control. And they get to ask things like, what are the implications of splitting a people in 2 or 3 or 6? Numbers can always be changed to fit a narrative, but what happens in my life, what happens in our life, that's what's variable. Grandma, borders are as arbitrary as a child drawing scribbles on a blank sheet of paper. The meaning of what is drawn is in their head, and they call it identity. It takes 2 lines to describe the white men who implemented the border, and it takes 1 wall, 1 cross, and a whole lot of genocide to talk about ours. And don't get me started about those damn Texas Rangers. When we started a revolution, they busted out the noose. All too familiar with 400 years of practice, and they use the same trees that they've been using. Saving trees only matters when they've held black, brown, and indigenous bodies. Call that the Green New Deal. Grandma, I say things like, fuck ICE, and chinga la pincha migra, hoping that they'll deport my ass. A free trip back home, or rather, a trip I paid for in other ways. I say things like, love is an action, and our love is revolutionary, but what I never got to tell you, Grandma, is that it's inspired by your revolutionary love. Grandma, Border Patrol is in your hometown, and they're creating checkpoints and stopping everybody, searching for us. Illegal searches make an Indian want to move off the res because these colonizers ain't never been able to tell an Indian from another Indian, just like their boy Columbus ain't never been able to tell a goat from a woman. It's a syphilis joke. I'm talking about the borderlands, a war zone, but they'll never call it that. Capitalists call it something like a free trade zone instead. And then they use a security force like Border Patrol or ICE because colonizers love 3-letter acronyms for synonyms all related to defense. And when that fails, y'all know America ain't never been above vigilante justice. 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 2 wrongs keeps things white. 2 wrongs keeps things white, but 2 wrongs makes me want to fucking fight. I got the 10 commandments to my right, and white Jesus and his 12 disciples to my left. I know that we've been told that violence is a sin, but Grandma, I love myself and I love you, and what is required for our liberation is a commitment to the cause and a commitment to love. And Grandma, I got revolutionary love in my heart, the type to blow up borders, the type to blow up the world, the type to build a new one from the ashes of fascist colonizers, the type to let you know what's going on in your hometown.
Keys, looking for the heat, and sort of listen to the silent piano and see what happens. Here we go. Check.
Oh,
Check.
Mark left his post.
Is it toast? Is it on? I don't even know if it's needed.
I don't know.
Okay, that is a hard act to follow, so excuse me. I'm gonna shift. This is called Sus Man. There's a suspicious man, a very suspicious man, in the corner with the felt hat, drinking champagne alone. He's old. He is expressionless and motionless. When he does move, it's only to put on his reading glasses and peer into his dumplings with admiration. Then he pulls them off again, staring forward into his past, into his future, quietly reciting the details of an unknown mission. Okay, this is called My Job.
Sorry, I think maybe
I know, yeah, it's just a prop. Oh, wait, no. Check.
Oh. It's just a prop.
It's called My Job. My job is simply to be. Am I being? Think about it. The responsibilities of being are right now, in this room. Good work. Good work. Yeah! This is called Interview. A job interview turned hookup, turned piano lesson, turned hide and seek, turned garden party in summer, turned new sense of waste, turned return to basics, basically going straight to bed, going straight to Berlin, going inside to say, I love me inside me. Symptoms are another word for watching anime instead of exploring the jungle. Meet me out at the ball game. The ache in my penis afterward. Sights, bites, nuts, scattered. Okay. Two men. I met two men. One whose age is 90. One who wakes at 6 to call me up from China, where he grew up and where he says he will never live again. There's no pain in the opera singer's voice, doing the random melody over flowers, teasing, but almost never, only once, landing to soak it up. Let me quietly collapse each time my lover suggests a meeting. Thanks. Oh yeah, I like to write just playful bullshit. But also, I don't know, I've been going through a lot psychologically, mentally. And this book has been sort of a space that I go to sort of keep track of how I'm feeling. Kind of a common thing to do. And things are looking good. Things are getting better. But I do playful stuff, and I also do kind of deep stuff. But in coming here, I thought this will be good. Like if I read it a certain way, this will be good. So I'm gonna take my chances. We'll see. This one's called Plan. I woke in a kind of despair again. Recently did notice that there is no play, just a little, and that work takes up too much spirit space. I'm no stranger to feeling strongly that I should quit a job or relationship. I now think of a push-up as a way to start vibrations in my body. I've been thinking of ikigai. I'm on a journey to set my perspective and my patterns and my vision and my play, flow, into a harmonious arrangement. I believe that I'm ready to write down truth. That will be my goal for this notepad. Less of the tangenty stuff, which is a fun exercise, but also leans into the blissful unknown. Not a bad thing. And often presents truth alongside non-truth. That's a magical medium. But in order to captain my ship, I mustn't be lost all the time. Today, after yoga and getting my head straight, I went to Pho on 45th. Pho mother was there with gray hair in a bun. She said she stopped dyeing it. I said I loved it. She said, oh really? She was free, wore freedom on her face. Before at yoga, I gave compliments. I complimented triple earrings, and also, I complimented Nick's superb mustache. So, I was in a very short-lived, very passionate relationship recently. And there was a call that was sort of a, like, let's basically decide, are we going to keep doing this? And I took notes. This is called meeting notes. Scared. Seeing you pull away. Meds situation. Let's slow down. Liked communicating. I hear the no girlfriend for 10 years thing. Still express our needs. No pressure. Looking forward to doing stuff outside of bed. Learn from each other. Protect our hearts. I'm open, but at some point need commitment, security, to continue being vulnerable. Accepting knowing nothing is forever. Okay, I'm going to end the poem segment on protection. For everyone's protection. I'm feeling myself today. Damn, it feels good to be me. I would not switch places with anyone. Life is just sweeter. I believe in myself. I love myself. I have time. I have hat. I have adventure. Certain things, and to love writing, and to love sounds. That is something wonderful. I am relaxed. I am the action. I notice myself losing interest in outer world events, protective of my time.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, all the dreams that you dream of I need to eat a window. I've held so many dead things, heavyweight spoons to sucker. Be fit to smudge. A donation of matches. Stop paper for the fed of time. Ooh, the Epid blotter. Negotiation of enoughs, not enoughs. Solve Torian's transaction. Legs bind, dumb faith ain't for animals yet. Speech, flee, and slaughter. This is a facsimile of dead language. Found not surprising behavior. I feed the operas of worlds. Ha! In the sky wept to the fire, beam team lighthouse. My online subscription to the New York Times gets canceled. Nowhere today begins hunt for Mitchell. Don't know paradise. Legs blind, no faith. 16 directors, no shoes. Welcome to the end of songs. Someone quoting songs. Someone quoting songs. How are we doing today, cat of cats? Fat of fats. Deep in the guts. What threatens cinema is the standardization of images through a production flow that sterilizes narrative, making cinematic language uniform. It's a strange predicament. A strange predicament. Dry stamp. Letter opener. Expired password. New long period. Gestation. It's useless and consumer tendency to hear the crops of these. In a stale miss you back, Torian's most recent victim of grave. I want to write the letter Z. So I wrote the letter Z a lot. Z, 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 Z. Are you going to take my word for it that I read the letter Z? That's 2 years old, 3 years done. Welcome to the past, seeing the future. All it's done before. Are talking about erosion. This is erosion. Read it out loud. At the time they knew what time was. There is no telling what that is now. As we dump our brains full of non-attention, we find the excess of it. Time. Not knowing time. Seeing the temptation to be almost too easy. And our time to interpret this event as symbolic is easy. There is no symbolism here, despite being religions. With the present, I admire the present for the simple reason that the present is right because it won, because the past no longer exists. The past were as smart as the present, it would still exist. That seems logical, that there is an era of nostalgia and the feeling of need, that there is a maintaining. Squeeze. Squeeze, broke down smoke, reverb loop, splint, interject, say it now, say anything, the monster structure does be, despite itself, this illness, all that this vulnerability provides us with, everything that this state of agony provides, this is the truth of the moment we're overlooking. Perhaps its state of collapse is actually true. Un vaso lleno de lenguas se convierte en 1000 puertas, madera estoica que pensa en las pruebas y tribulaciones de la muerte, vida en ropa nueva, vagabundo con reliquias de rehabilitación, duda con angustia, el grande estas palabras de las lenguas. Perhaps it's the state of collapse. Perhaps celestial dentist ballworm. Tell me this, tell me this, tell me this, tell me this. We all thought we had more time. Amanecer con su corazón escribe pasando en la celular lo que escucha al lado, la máquina que come, la razón que no podemos entender. Amor curioso es todavía amor, piel sobre piel como skin against skin, dust versus dust. What they think of as trials, our origins, what you find in the extraordinary is the end of neighborhoods. When you sleep on the floor, think of work, the invention of continuing. I guess I'm wondering where we were. Revival, morning, is this really resurrection? I roll into your side of the bed. I try to find you through the through line thoroughly. Say it one way, say it twice. The window, what was the question? What was the question? What was the question? We never had much time. Time again, the time of it all. Wandering through this world of time. Seeking through refractions of self, the one self. Finding that it is all muddy water. No longer exists here. No longer exists here. The no longer exists here. Faith at that time. Faith. Faith, wondering that you are you. Faith in the aspect that there is something pushing through you. Faith in the movement of body. Faith in the product of yourself. Wandering through. Wandering through. Wandering through. Wandering through. The mnemonic value of meters seems always to have been recognized. Weather saws, counting spells. Ornament, however trivial and even meaningless, probably assists the recollection to some degree. If by ornament we mean a device of sound or structure required by the plain sense of a passage, repetition obviously functions in this way. 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 Likewise, with such structural features, parallel parts for that matter, fine memory, the purely mnemonic character of a passage contributes to its aesthetic power, likely to be the groundwork underlying other figurations. Pattern is not enough. Writer's efforts to call up subject there is fittedness, meanwhile keeps remembrance, keeping possibilities itself to itself, anything, nominized, numbers, combination, reason, hidden. This is all perhaps a double handful, where the pattern itself has somehow become memorable, in which devices happen, in which recollections landscape, in which persevering is a seam of perseverance, one motive for not, if not all not, the metrical one, the metrical one, the metrical one. Certain recent critics have argued that even syntax is now bogus. 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 I mean, since the modern world contains no such orders that imply an ordinary sentence, much less a metrical one, I wonder if that's changed since 1978. So much seems true, I mean, at least from the perspective of the one who makes it, right? I mean, is there any resemblance to the more mechanical functions of camera and tape to the chemicals of the audience, to the back rooms of becoming. The experience is itself experiential, a reenactment of being this being so to object. The odd mustaches, baggy pants. Comedians ascertain a certain distance. The effect of expectations of life. Distancing, framing. To divest language through a sort of half consciousness of unsubstantial existence over the whole composition. Traditionally, we have called to some degree of plan, purpose, and meaning. The meaners seem always faintly teleological by application, argument as the case may be, the maker, the self. They seem to propose that the appearance of the unmanageable, I know not what they mean, the difference seems important to the interpretation of the guarantee, and all does usually this apply, well enough to understand it. Well enough to understand it. It is tempting and almost too easy to talk about erosion, to believe in ritual, believe in the day, today the pace of, the never stopping, speech spleen, splatter rompers, dimple fancy, 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 speech spleen, splatter, legs blind, ain't animals, yet I ain't animals, 4 legs, yet I ain't animals, 4 legs going west, 4 legs sacrificing themselves to California, 4 legs on the altar twitching, 4 legs saying hasta la vista, baby. Everyone speaks from the space of nothingness. Everyone speaks from their own emptiness. Everyone tunes themselves into their own version of tuning out. Spaced, whiling away inside itself. You are distance becoming distance. You are overtly long ago. When I keep you at risk, I keep you less and less. The blood of might, the blood of nameless creatures becoming. All that love, all that sacred, comparably advanced endeavors. Coherences in the previously perceived percussive noise. A closely characteristic relation to the especially. Indeed, the commonness of those perceptions is, of course, a pattern measure of the works being art historically ahead of its time. This is ahead of its time. This saying now, the words transmitted ahead of their time, each one slightly pushing backwards. Vanguards, milestones, elaborations, product placement, they're all the same, ahead of their time. Wounded in common consent. Customarily, the innovations explore themselves further. Some experiments are based upon incompetence. Maybe this one. Furthermore, the awareness of reality must continually be updated, consistently. We didn't plan this. Nailed it. We didn't use that word at all. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.